Hey everyone, Opendoor Technology earnings is tomorrow after close. And not a lot of excitement going on right now because the stock price is kind of stagnant and going down a little bit. And the company's been pretty quiet as far as the news. Let's take a look at the chart and see what we can find. On the weekly chart, we have been consolidating for 4 weeks. We're talking about 5 weeks straight down and then 3 weeks consolidating. I think Opendoor will deliver good guidance. I'm not too sure about how the earnings is going to look as far as the numbers, because a lot of people are saying that the numbers aren't going to be that great, but a good guidance could be on the way for Opendoor Technology. And if we get a good guidance, I'm thinking around the area of maybe $8.60 to $9 area if we go up. If it's a good guidance, if we get something unexpected and it goes up a lot, the highest I see is maybe around the low $10. We're talking about maybe this area of resistance. Now, if the guidance is not good and the earnings, the data is not good, then we're maybe talking about around this area for the low. So that's a pretty big drop from where we're at. Right now, we're trading in the middle of the resistance between 897 and 586 area. And as you can see on the daily chart, we are trending downward. Moving averages is right on top of our candlesticks, pushing us downward. And the Bollinger Bands are also tightening up, but also moving downward. And that's where the first support is, right there at 666. Let me move it up a little bit. I don't like the number. Let's say 670. 670 first support for Opendoor. If it goes any lower, 586. If we get a good guidance, good report, $8.97 area. If we get outstanding report, good earnings, good guidance, then we're talking about it may be the $10 area, 1003 or close to it. So Opendoor did go to 668 after hours and then kept going up, 681 to 691. It consolidated a little bit and then it started pumping up with the market in general because the market is doing pretty good today. We had good data numbers before the market opened, and then at 10 a.m. Eastern, we got good manufacturing numbers. So that's why the market is recovering a little bit, and that's great. As long as we keep getting good data numbers, that's good. And then like what Trump said earlier this morning, when the government goes back up, we could probably start seeing a move back up again. I've always said, as long as the data numbers are good, the government is open, I don't see no problem with the stock market. We can keep going up, then go down, and then go up more. I always said that before. I've always said when there's a lot of volume, the market can keep going up for long periods of time. When there's a lot of volume, a lot of people buying, it can go up and then come down and consolidate, not take a big dip or a crash or a downtrend because there's so much volume. A lot of people are buying, so it doesn't have to go down so much to profitate because there's a lot of people buying. The Mag 7 tech and AI stocks, it can keep going up as long as the data is good and the government opens up, hopefully as soon as possible. Now let's get back to open. So we're pretty much consolidating in this area. We're not really moving up or down. We did have a big pump, as I said earlier, from 704 to 730 when the stock market was moving up, but then we came back down right in the consolidation area. It's a possibility we move up some more, maybe to 720 or maybe try the 730 test, but it's not a guarantee. Let's see what happens if we can do it or not. Right now, it's starting to look decent. The RSI is looking much, much better. This RSI is trending upward, which means more people are buying Opendoor, and it's starting to recover a little bit. The MACD is starting to look better too in 1 minute. The 5 minute is starting to turn back up again. And most importantly, the hourly. The hourly doesn't look that great. It's starting to come down some. So there's no guarantee if Opendoor is going to go up. But, if the RSI here, the line starts to turn up a little bit or go sideways, it's a possibility that Opendoor could reverse and start to go back up again. But we have to watch for that 1 hour RSI. Will it go sideways then start to go up, or will it continue downward trend right here? Will it continue downward? That's what we're looking for Opendoor Technology for the rest of the day. Technicals is always going to be important. The volume, the MACD, and the RSI. I wouldn't be surprised if we do trade sideways a little bit because earnings is tomorrow and they're not going to put out any big news until earnings. They want all the surprises to come out for the earnings tomorrow after close. But we are seeing some nice green candlesticks on the 5 minute chart. We need to break this area right here, the 715, and then the 720 here for us to get into an uptrend. Once we can break the 715, 720 and hold it, that's a good look for Opendoor Technology, and the RSI and hourly start to turn back upward again. The video I made yesterday was talked about the market could go into a short to long downtrend was only if the data numbers were not good. And we have 2 data numbers that came out today, and both of them look good. So the chances of a long downtrend or a crash, pretty much 0% at the moment. Could it happen in the future? Anything is possible, but right now I don't see a long downtrend or a crash at the moment. A short downtrend still possible, but the market is trying to reverse based on those data numbers. And just some quick information on Opendoor previous quarter: 1.5 billion of inventory and 789 million in unrestricted cash, maintaining a strong liquidity. The digital real estate company surpassed earnings estimates in 3 of the trailing 4 quarters and met on the other occasion, with an average surprise being 17.1%. You can see the historical figures in the chart below. And here's the data for Opendoor Technology. It looks decent. It's all green, and this is during a time of a struggling housing market. So Opendoor data could look good tomorrow. We got to see what happens. Won't be the best, but it might not be as worse than expected. And of course, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have good guidance. I think the CEO is going to let people know what the company is working on, talk about AI, and talk about maybe Bitcoin being able to purchase of houses. And he's going to talk about the future. He's going to talk about the future and how the interest rate cuts is going to help the housing market and Opendoor Technology. And that's going to be very, very good for Opendoor Technology tomorrow. And one more time, let's look at the chart. And as you can see, Opendoor is still trading sideways right between 705 and 715 area. Still trading sideways. So this could be part of the plan. Trade this thing sideways until the earnings tomorrow. But one thing could happen today. Opendoor Technology could move up later on today, as long as the market is still looking good around 1:30 or maybe during power hour, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. It could have a decent move upward, but that's going to only happen if the market is in a good shape. If the market is selling off later on today, then I don't see Opendoor doing nothing like that. But if market is looking good, nice and green, pumping like it is right now, Opendoor could make a move later on between 1:30 p.m. and 3 p.m. We have to see what happens. And if that happens, I'm thinking about a move between 7:20 to 7:30 area later on today if Opendoor does make a move. Or it could just wait until tomorrow and make the moves tomorrow before the earnings call after the close. But most of the action we're going to see for Opendoor Technology is going to be after earnings call, after data report. So you won't see that until Friday morning, but you will see a lot of action going on after hours for Opendoor Technology. All right, everyone. So Opendoor hasn't been looking great, but it seems like the excitement is starting to come back for Opendoor Technology. As long as the stock market is doing great, we have a good guidance, I think Opendoor has a chance to keep moving higher. It's been pretty slow recently and sluggish. A lot of people are getting bored with the stock, not moving really. But there's a lot of indecision in the market. So when there's indecision, stocks like this is not going to move too much until we get some kind of news. And as I said before, Opendoor is actually up a lot. It's up a lot. It's from 54 cents. And now we're in the $7 range. So that's very good for Opendoor overall. But we want to see some more movement going up after the earnings and the earnings call. And I'm not really expecting a huge move unless we get some kind of short squeeze. But if we go up a few dollars, I'm good with that actually, because we've been moving downward and sideways for a while now. And any kind of positive green movement upward is going to be good to me. And tomorrow with the earnings, we'll get all the news that we're looking for. All right, everybody, subscribe, like, comment, take care.